In the headline, cholera death toll rises to 21 suspected cases, hits 401 in Lagos. Court postpones ruling on Kano Emirate tussle. Court reserves judgment in Amewule's appeal. And on the foreign scene, fatal train collision near Santiago, Chile. Hello, welcome to News Update on Dras TV. I am Lilian Ogazi. And now to the news. Special Advisor to the Lagos State Governor on Health, Kemi Ogunyemi, has said that the number of recorded fatalities as a result of cholera outbreak in the state has risen to 21. Following the last updates, which reported 350 suspected cases and 15 fatalities, she also said the number of cholera cases has increased to 401 across Lagos, with Lagos Island, Kusefo and Etiosa recording the highest numbers. Ogunyemi revealed this on Thursday while providing an update on the outbreak after meeting with members of the Lagos State Public Health Emergency Operations Center. She added that the death toll has also risen to 21, an increase from 6 from the previously reported 15 fatalities. Now, according to her, the rise in cases was anticipated following the Ileya festivities, during which large gathering occurred. She, however, noted the suspected cases are subsiding across LGAs, particularly in previously affected LGAs, due to state government interventions and surveillance efforts. Experts have suggested that better sanitation infrastructure and access to clean water could have significantly mitigated the impact of the cholera outbreak. The report.
Cholera, a diarrheal disease caused by bacterium Vibrio cholerae, poses significant risk as it spread through contaminated water, food, and person-to-person contact. Poor hygiene exacerbates its transmission, particularly affecting areas near rivers where sanitation practices are inadequate. This health practitioners stressed the critical importance of access to clean water at the community level to mitigate the impact of this outbreak.
Generally, cholera is a diarrheal disease, and the culprit involved is Vibrio cholerae. Most likely spread through water, spread through food, person to person, hand to mouth. The major, or the most possible cause or possible way by which this is spread is through poor hygiene. I will note that generally the places affected are places close to all this riverside area, and that is because it is easily transmitted through water. So we started seeing the cases. We were worried, we were concerned. At the time, we were asking them their source of water for cooking, for use at home, where they get their food from. Because these are the possible ways in which individuals could contract the disease condition.
Residents of Lagos are urging the government to take proactive measures to curtail the spread of the disease.
The place I'm coming from, or the place I'm residing, there's no good water there. You know, every building has their own, they provide water for themselves, okay? They drill boreholes, okay? They drill boreholes. And those, some have tanks up there, okay? The whatever, what's it called? They will pump water from that borehole up to that tank. And that tank, those water there are not treated, okay? So there might be some bacteria that will store in that water. And it's very, very detrimental to human health.
Cholera disease that is ongoing in the country. The government should at least, our health care centers in Nigeria should be able to find a source to disseminate information to the masses. One, and also the masses on their own should also try to keep a good hygiene, a more good hygiene, and wash your hands thoroughly, eat proper food, do the proper things you ought to do to avoid this health issue. But in terms of the government have also some duties to perform here by going to the health centers or other health organizations to provide necessary medications to fight against this illness, you understand? And also to enlighten people about it.
Residents are calling on the government to provide essential medications to health centers and educate the public about preventive measures against the illness.
Nigeria is currently in a race against time to contain a cholera epidemic, with the current outbreak claiming the lives of over 30 persons across 30 states in the country. Now, according to data from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, experts in the public health sector have called on governments at all levels and citizens alike to detect the drivers of the infection urgently, provide access to high-standard water and sanitation facilities to communities to curb the disease outbreak and phase out its subsequent recurrence. The report.
Cholera, an acute diarrheal infection caused by ingestion of food or water contaminated with the bacterium Vibrio cholera, is a recurring disease in Nigeria, which recorded its first appearance in 1972. Since then, intermittent outbreaks have occurred, with a severe outbreak surfacing in 2010 and leaving in its wake a trail of about 3,000 cases and 781 deaths. Another outbreak was recorded in 2020, which escalated to several parts of the country for most of 2021. Despite being preventable and easily treatable, children continue to suffer from the potentially fatal disease. The reason for this is not far-fetched, according to experts.
As long as the population continues to grow, we continue to build and urbanize and also expand housing without addressing sanitation, without addressing water supply to homes, then there is still that risk of having these outbreaks of cholera from time to time.
While many Nigerians lament poor access to potable water sources and sanitation facilities in a bid to curb environmental pollution, they, however, try within their means to keep safe and healthy.
We have borehole, and that's what we use basically for cleaning, for cooking, and we take seaway, the one on the dispenser. Yeah, so that's what to do. And then I ensure that my kids wash their hands after going to using the restroom. And by the time I get back from the market, I ensure I wash my hands.
People should make sure that they keep their environment clean, and they make sure there's no stagnant water around the vicinity where they're staying, because these are the things that can also lead to this cholera. And again, the kind of water they use in the drink and they use in cooking, if they are not sure of the safety, the purity of the water, they can boil it.
My water access is tap pipe water, tap borne, and we'll make sure our environments are clean, and especially cooking with clean water is another thing. Since cholera, the easiest way to contact it is through waterborne disease.
I don't just take water anyhow. Sometimes when I go out, if I find out that the location I am, the water may not be good for my person, I just have to wait till I get to a location where I know I can buy water. And some persons might also believe that bottled water is actually the best. It may not be the best, because there are some persons, some individuals that are dubious in their business. They can look for the empty can and pour water in it. So one also have to be mindful of that.
With the rainy season in full swing and fears of possible contamination, there are calls for more awareness on prevention strategies.
People must wash the things they eat, then as much as possible cook what you eat. This is not the time to experiment with raw food, because you don't know where or how it was prepared, where it was prepared or how it was prepared. And the major drivers of transmission for cholera is still food and waterborne. So it's still from food sources and water sources.
Although Nigeria is said to have the capacity to diagnose and treat cases, curbing the disease goes beyond the healthcare system.
For every outbreak, there are predictors of the outbreak. So for instance, in the country today, the moment with the economic situation, you have hyperinflation and a situation whereby access to water, potable drinking water, has become more and more expensive. The way they are able to process this water that they get from maybe rainfall or from other sources, surface water sources, etc., well water and all that, may be where we have some of the contamination and infection that is leading to the outbreaks.
Stakeholders say government at all levels must set up early warning mechanisms to identify potential hotspots and regularly provide situation updates to the population while intensifying mitigation plans and community surveillance measures. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now to some issues on judiciary. A federal high court in Kano has postponed its ruling on the validity of the Kano Emirate Council Repeal Law 2024. The judgment, which was initially set for 12 p.m., was shifted just before midday to 2 p.m. and communicated by the court clerk to all parties in the suit. The court will also address a motion for a stay of proceeding filed by A.G. Wakli, representing the State Attorney General and Kano State Government, who are respondents in the Dangudi suit. The law, recently passed by the Kano State House of Assembly on May 23rd, was immediately signed into law by Governor Abba Yusuf and was used to dethrone Emir Aminu Ado Bayero and reappoint Muhammad Sanusi II as the 16th Emir of Kano. It was also used to reverse the creation of 4 emirates of Bichi, Rano, Karaye and Gaya that were established by former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje in 2020. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has reserved judgment in the appeal filed by a former Speaker of the River State House of Assembly, Martin Amewule, and 24 others against the Speaker, Victor Okojumbo, and 5 others. The appellate court adjourned after the parties in the suit adopted all the briefs in the matter. At the proceeding that was conducted virtually on Thursday, Amewule and others are asking the court to stay execution of a High Court judgment which saw them out of office. They are also asking for an accelerated hearing in the matter, while contending that the order made by the trial court was without jurisdiction. In their response, Amewule and others prayed the court to dismiss the appeal for lacking in merit because the records of appeal transmitted were incompetent. After listening to the submission of the lawyers in the appeal, the 3-man panel, led by Justice Jimmy Olukayode Bada, reserved a date for judgment to be communicated to parties in the suit. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, Federal University Gashua branch in Yobe State, has asked the federal government to address the lingering issues affecting universities to avoid another disruption of academic activities on campus. The chairman of the branch, Melemi Abacha, and his members, who addressed journalists at Damaturu, the state capital, on Thursday, outlined funding for revitalization of Nigerian public universities and the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement among major issues. Other issues they listed included university autonomy, the proliferation of public universities, the backlog of earning academic allowances amounting to 50 billion naira, and the withheld 3.5 months' salaries of its members across the country. Malemi also explained that the removal of fuel subsidy without credible alternatives has brought untold hardship on the people, adding that it would not want to compound it yet with another academic disruption. The union also called on the federal government to show sensitivity to the plight of Nigerians by speedily agreeing to and implementing an acceptable living wage for Nigerian workers to assuage the suffering of Nigerians. Meanwhile, Nigeria and Ghana will represent Africa at the prestigious Scripps National Spelling Bee that will be hosted in the United States in 2025. The Chief Executive Officer of the foundation, Eugenia Tache-Menson, disclosed this in a statement made available to newsmen on Thursday in Abuja. Tache-Menson said the spelling competition that tested students' competence in spelling and vocabulary prowess had seen Ghana representing the continent for about 2 decades. She said the foundation, in collaboration with Lucy Dedication Initiative Nigeria, facilitated Nigeria to join the representation. Now, according to her, the foundation is already working on a selection process of students to compete at the national level for global representation. On his part, Chief Executive Officer Lucy Dedication Initiative Afolajami Akinyoyenu said Nigerians' participation in the competition would highlight the importance of literacy and spelling education among young students. The 2024 edition had no fewer than 245 national competitions from schools across the US, in Europe, Ghana, Canada, and others. A point-of-sale POS operator, popularly called Alpha, in Ado-Ekiti, along the Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital, has been shot dead by unknown gunmen. This is coming 48 hours after a ticketing officer with the Okada riders was killed in broad daylight. In a similar manner, the POS operator was killed. The killing happened at the shop of the victim located adjacent the gate of Exit in Ado-Ekiti. Reports say the gunman came on a motorbike, shot Alpha and made away with his money and other valuables. A customer who was transacting with him when the incident happened was said to have also sustained injury. The victim's body has been deposited at the hospital and morgue. Now moving on, traders at the outbreak+More market in Agege have appealed to the state government to expedite action on the construction of the Akerele Road. The ongoing construction, they said, is disrupting their businesses and posing a threat to their survival. Victoria Tokolu visited the site and brings us more in this report.
The ongoing expansion of Akerele Onuwa Road in the Agege area of Lagos State appears to be on hold. In early January 2024, the Agege local government chairman Ganiyu Kola Egunjobi initiated the road expansion with a target completion date of 6 months. Although significant progress has been made with the completion of the drainage system, the project is seen to be delayed due to few store buildings situated along the drainage path. At the entrance of the street is an old 2-story building on the left side that has been partially demolished by the contractors, leaving the occupants displaced, while the interior is now filled with various types of debris, emitting foul odors.
I think it's because of that building at that junction, and then another building on the of the market. I think the two buildings is disturbing them to do the work quickly. That can help us to do the road in time, can help us to make our business to improve. What is doing this road, this work is because of the two buildings. One person is there and the down one. The two buildings there is doing the work. But they have finished the gutters. That's what is laying the road. If they can destroy or demolish the house, that two house, then to hasten the construction of the road.
Because this road has been for a long, more than 20, 30 years that they abandoned it. But thank God it has come to our streets to do the job. But one thing I know very well is that by the special grace of God, very soon the job will be completed. And pertaining the houses that has been demolished, maybe the chairman has not settled them, I don't know yet. But immediately they settle, the house will be left out and the road will be completed.
There is a particular building disturbing the construction of the road. But the building is at the entrance while the second one is at the other entrance. That the building has caused delay. I don't know what make the building to cause delay. Maybe the delay is from the local government or from the from those that are constructing it. I don't know what made that delay to come. But I know that the building is the major problem for now.
Some traders who craved anonymity commended the road expansion initiative and urged the contractors to expedite action on the job.
There was a little challenges, of course, why building the gutters. Because there are some buildings that are affected. So we have to see those people and tell them, mark the places, and begin to schedule how they are going to come about to dig the gutter. So there are some challenges in that area, the buildings that were affected.
Ajeboriyogbon traders believe that completing the road expansion project will improve the flow of their businesses and customer traffic.
For quite some time now, the problem of insecurity across many parts of Nigeria has continued to affect agricultural production, effectively leading to food shortages and threats to other sectors of the economy. Now, in this special report, Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin takes a look at insecurity's impact on crop production and livestock farming in northern Nigeria. His report.
As competition for land and water continues to intensify, long decade of violence between farmers and herders worsen across many parts of northern Nigeria. Farmers are still trying to come to terms with this effect on crop production.
You can see these cattle on this open grazing area, but there is no food. That is how we are roaming about the bush every now and then. All the grazing reserve areas have either been converted to farms or have been vandalized. There is absolutely no place where we can go and graze our animals. That is why every day we are having conflict between us and the farmers, because we don't have choice. These are animals and you must feed them.
Apart from farmer-herders conflicts, the problem of modern farming techniques, fertilizer, seeds and insecticide have continued to threaten crop production and livestock production. The situation many farmers believed to have worsened the problem of food insecurity in Nigeria.
Gaskiya muna fama da yanayi na rayuwa da yake komai ya riga ya sauya.
You see, we cannot be able to produce enough food for Nigeria. This farm that you are seeing belongs to me, but I have loaned it to somebody. That person is paying me to now work on this farm for him, because we, the local farmers, we don't have money to buy fertilizer. We don't have money to buy insecticide. We don't have money to even take care of the farm. So how do you expect us to cultivate? We can't even cultivate even what we will feed our family, talk less of to sell outside to other people.
Across many parts of northern Nigeria, farmers at this time head back to the farm for this year's wheat season farming. At the same time, herders are struggling to feed their animals, effectively creating rivalries between the two similar people.
When you talk about insecurity, you are telling us that there's no, the farmers, not only the farmers, almost everybody would have no time, would have no, what do you call it, to concentration on whatever activity you are doing. So the effect of insecurity on farming means that there's going to be less food, because farmers will not be able to cultivate their farms, and therefore there will be less food. There is going to be inflation. There's going to be absence of, let me say, food security.
The implication of these, according to experts, is that Nigeria is threatened by the inability to produce enough food for the populace, even as dairy and livestock farmers struggle to meet their challenge.
If the government will intensify the effort, at the same time make a vigorous advocacy, awareness, to formalize the informal process of milk collection, milk production in Nigeria at large, there is enormous number of volume of raw milk that can be harnessed, collect and utilized to feed this nation.
Although several government policies, including intervention in the agricultural sector, are expected to take effect, farmers believe that unless farmer-herders conflicts are resolved, fertilizer is subsidized, and modern farming techniques become sufficient, the future of crop production and livestock production in Nigeria may likely continue to remain bleak. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kanu.
And now to the foreign scene. At least 2 people were killed and 9 others injured on Thursday when a train full of passengers collided head-on with another train on a test run just outside the capital of Chile, where fatal railway crashes remain rare. Police said they were investigating to determine the cause of the crash, which vaulted the test car fully on top of the freight train, which was also carrying passengers. Photos and videos of the scene showed one carried jackknifed several meters into the air above a badly mangled cargo train. Security camera footage showed both trains traveling at high speed when they slammed into each other. It wasn't immediately clear why the test train hadn't been alerted to the freight train's approach. Officials indicated that a failure in a signaling device might be responsible. With that, we've come to the end of News Update here on Trust TV. Do also follow us across all our social media platforms for more news, programs and documentaries. I am Lilian Ogazi. Thanks for watching.